You on? Hey everybody, it's Corey with CVMA. Welcome to our next live class we're going to be doing here today. So we unfortunately we put out a poll a little late in the day to see what you guys wanted to do today. Unfortunately, it came out a little later than I wanted it to, so we didn't get too much on that. But I'm going to take some suggestions that we received previously. So a lot of people have been asking for forms, and kind of like what I explained in some of the earlier videos, it's really hard to teach forms in an all levels class format because we have so many different levels of belts in the room that I can't meet everybody's forms needs all at once, right? So what I am going to do today, instead of teaching just blanket forms, I'm actually going to start going through some of the basic bunkai in each of the forms. So we're going to do a little bit of hopping around today with the different forms that we have, both beginner forms and advanced, to do some of the bunkai. So what's good about this is those of you that are more beginner or intermediate, this may be the first time you've ever seen bunkai in a form before, or ever actually worked on it yourself. And to varying levels, you're going to know the forms in varying degrees. For you advanced students that are out there, you guys are going to need to practice this stuff pretty heavily because you're going to have to be able to demonstrate this stuff on your own in action later on. So it's good practice for everybody involved to work out the bunkai. So we're going to jump around in forms today. You're going to probably, especially towards you beginners, you're going to do bunkai in forms you probably don't know yet. That's okay. You can follow along with the movements, or I'm going to start with the beginner ones first, so you can stay on those and work on those while we move on to the advanced, or you can follow us, try to work with the higher forms, and then go back and watch and redo the beginners forms if you want to. So we're going to try to give a little bit to everybody today, like we normally do. With that being said, if you have a partner, that will be good for you today, considering that we are going to do some of the bunkai, so you might need a body to help out with that. If you don't, these are totally doable in the air. Use your imagination. I'll kind of direct you on. I'm going to use Ron to show kind of where the opponent is, what the actions are doing, all that good stuff. One thing to remember with bunkai is completely subjective, right? So it depends on the situation. And Ron and I sort of know that phrase very well because one of our instructors that we do our forms with says that a lot, and he's absolutely right. Bunkai is defensive training, and defensive training is highly subjective. It depends on where you are, what the scenario is, what the situation calls for. So you might see this bunkai here, you might watch another video that has a completely different bunkai for the same movement. It's all possible. It just has to be combatively practical and efficient. So we're going to teach some things that we know, and then there's many more interpretations of these out there. So feel free to look around, get some additional bunkai, and kind of meld it into your own personal training. With that being said, we'll go ahead and get into it here as normal. So again, big keys are make sure you got extra space in the room there, so you don't bust up anything. If you have a partner, have them come in with you. If you have a partner, bring them in for the warm-ups and stuff too. I mean, we're just warming the body up, so it's nothing crazy. And then as we're going through things today, if we hit a form that you are unsure of, Up Through Hyun Sandan is available on our YouTube channel. I'm sorry, Hyun Shodan through Sandan are available on our YouTube channel. We don't have any of the technical forms up there yet. So if you're looking at Hyun Shodan Nidan Sandan, those are up on our YouTube channel with a detailed explanation. So go out there and take a look, refresh your forms. And even for advanced students, it's always good to go back and look at the detail on them, make sure you're not missing some of the finer grain detail in those forms. So I hope you're ready. I'm ready. Production team looks ready, wide awake, just absolutely full of energy and vigor over there, ready to work with you and chat. I can see it in their faces. They're very on today. So, all right, let's go ahead and start from rest position. We'll get started. Shut up, feet together. Come get. Okay, let's start to warm up a little bit. Go ahead and just take a couple seconds, just kind of get through get through some just basic warm-ups on your own, get the body warmed up a little bit, and then we'll go through a little bit of a guided warm-up and go from there. That vim and vigor of the production team is starting to show. Hopefully everybody out there is staying safe, staying healthy, not going stir crazy. I'm going stir crazy. That's okay. Just a note for everybody, for those of you that are newer to our studio, we don't just do martial arts. We actually have yoga classes available as well. Yoga class, mat yoga classes, and aerial yoga classes, starting this Saturday, right, Sam? Am I right on? Okay. Starting this Saturday, we're actually going to start doing weekly online live yoga classes until we're able to operate in the building again. Those will be on Facebook Live, I believe, is what we're planning on doing for those. So feel free to join us over there on Facebook Live, and then we'll end up uploading them to YouTube Live just like normal, or uploading them to YouTube afterward. So if you want an opportunity to do some yoga, we'll have that available for everybody as well, in addition to our bi-weekly, or not bi-weekly, twice a week live classes. All right, so let's go ahead and warm up the body here, working the ankles, just warm up the ankles a little bit. We're going to go through our normal flow here. We'll switch over to the other side. All right, we'll work into the knees. So bend the knees and circle. Other direction. All right, we'll go ahead and work into the hips, just nice and easy. Just fold down at the hips here. And bend the knees and relax. Back up again. Bend the knees. And back up. All right, we'll start working into the hips here. Just spread the feet out about shoulder width, hands at the hips, nice and easy, just rotate. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Go ahead and do that for about 3 more rotations, and then switch directions to the other side. I will let everybody know, and I'll announce this at the end as well. This week we are going to have to change and go to the other side now. We're going to have to change our Wednesday class over to Thursday. So our next live class will not be on Wednesday, it'll be on Thursday from 6 to 7. That'll only be for this week. It'll go back to normal schedule starting next week. But we will be Thursday, 6 to 7, starting the next class here. All right, let's work up into the torso, just nice and easy. Just rotate the torso. Again, you always have the option to stop at one side and get a couple extra small rotations there, or just hold that if you need more on that side. All right, and then we'll work up into the shoulders. So just nice and easy to rotate the shoulders. You go the other direction. This is the first time I've ever taught martial arts classes where I've had to contend with the people that you can't see off camera that are like dancing at the table. It's very different. You usually don't have that problem in regular classes, but it's a whole different system in itself. All right, let's go ahead and take the left arm across the body. Right hand hooks underneath. It's nice and easy. Just stretch and rotate that. I'm gonna open a little bit. Just make sure I don't go over the mic. All right, I can go ahead and switch them. All right, then just give them a quick shake here real quick. Okay, let's move into the elbows, pin, and rotate. We go the other direction. All right, good. We'll go into the hands, open up the fingers, interlock the fingers, close the hands, and rotate the wrists. All right, good. Shake that out, and then we'll move into the neck. So just stand up straight, look to your left, look to your right, look to your left again, look to your right again. Back to center. Look at the sky. Or your ceiling. Look at the floor. Look at the ceiling. And look at the floor. All right, straight up. Left ear to the left shoulder. Right ear to the right shoulder. Left ear to the left shoulder. Right ear to the right shoulder. All right, you bring it back out. Give everything a final shake. All right. Let's work calisthenics a little bit here. We'll go down to the ground. I'm going to vary it up just a hair today, so I'm going to do a little more isometric work than I would normally. So instead of just doing the standard push-ups, we're going to do a little bit of isometrics here. So the idea behind this is we're going to hold at varying stages. So if you're unsure, just follow my cadence. We're going to go to halfway. So halfway is halfway down, obviously. 2 inches is basically you're just off the floor. So you're not resting on the floor. You're just up off the floor. And then, of course, all the way up is all the way up. We're going to call this out. And basically, if I'm not saying anything, just hold where you are. So go ahead and go into your plank position. You can go knees here. You can go feet. Totally up to you how you want to do it. But we're going to work isometrics. So the first thing we're going to do is do a couple slow push-ups just to get the movement down. So go ahead and come up in your plank position. Now, nice and easy and nice and slow. Just do one standard push-ups. Just nice and easy, down slow, and up slow. Again, down slow, up slow, down slow, up slow, down slow, up slow, and down slow, up slow. All right, now, go down halfway and just hold it there for a second. Now go to 2 inches and hold it. Now go to halfway and hold it. Now go all the way up and hold. Halfway and hold. 2 inches and hold. Halfway and hold. All the way up and hold. Halfway hold. 2 inches hold. Halfway hold. All the way up hold. Halfway hold. 2 inches hold. Halfway hold. And all the way hold. All right, go relax that. So maybe you notice a little bit of a difference between that and what we usually do, just standard push-ups. It's a test of strength at different areas, and this really focuses in on the muscle groups. So when you're doing isometrics, the big key is to maintain your form, right? So don't V your back and don't kind of fall off to one side. If you keep everything straight and hold at those varying levels, it can really help to develop some of your strength within your push-up. And then you can also hold it 1/4 and 3/4, all that kind of stuff to get all those angles and all those different levels throughout the entire push-up. All right, we'll go on our backs. We're going to try the same thing on our backs now. Maybe. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to sit normally like this. Keep your feet flat on the floor. If you've been in any of my classes, you know what we're doing now. So you're just going to sit up here, take your hands, you can cross them over your chest. You can attach them to your head, or you can let them float. But again, the key here is not to use them at all. Just let them float here. So up to you. If you're sure you don't want to cheat on yourself, give them a hug or attach them to your head. This way you can at least tell if they come off. Here, you can't use them. So we're going to just let them float. So we're going to just sit up, keep your feet on the floor, sit up here. Now just go down halfway and we'll hold that. And now we'll go down just to about our lower back touches the floor. So right about there. We'll hold that. Now we'll come up to halfway again. Now we'll come up the whole way. Go back to halfway. Go back down to just off the ground. Lower back just off the ground. Halfway up. And all the way up. Back to halfway. Just off the ground. Halfway. And all the way up. Do it one more time. Halfway. Just off the ground. Halfway. And all the way up. So now we're going to try one more thing. So now just stay in this position and go down about halfway and hold that. Now, just from this position, just drop down toward the floor an extra about inch. And then do that again. Do that one more time. Hold it there. Now, just come up to halfway, no further. Back down an inch again. And another. And another. And one more. Now hold it there. Now come up to halfway. Down 1 inch. Another. Down another. And another. And one more. This should be about 3/4-ish. Come up to halfway. And come up all the way. All right, relax that. So just different levels you can hold there as well. The key is keeping your core engaged the whole time, and don't hold your breath. You notice how the whole time I'm talking while I'm doing this. That's not easy, but it's a different muscle control. You're not kind of clenching everything together where you can't breathe and then letting it all out at once. You breathe normally through this process. Breathe, exhale on that work, breathe throughout the whole thing. And once you establish that you can control your core muscles without holding your breath, it makes things a lot easier for you. All right, go ahead, come up on our feet. Switch this back. Okay, so let's real quick. We'll do a balance challenge squat. I always talk about this one, but we never really do it. You may at home. I haven't shown it yet, so we're going to do it together here. This is a fun one because this is just a balance challenge. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a squat, and so I'm going to count it. So I'm going to say, we're going to do our squat. We're going to come up, raise the foot. Then I'm going to count again. I'm going to put the foot down, squat, come up on the other side. Then I'm going to count again. All right, so we're getting this, you're getting a quick balance challenge out of this. Now, the key to this is shift the weight. So don't just go down and pick the foot up. You're never going to stay up. It's down, shift the weight over the leg, then pick that other foot up and let it sit there. So see what you can do. You're going to see me fall around. We all do. It's not easy. So this is a quick balance challenge work. So don't go fast. Just work balancing it. All right, so let's try it. We'll go to our left side first. All right, so you're going to go down, come up, and hold. Go. Put the foot down, squat, shift the weight, up on the other side now. Set the foot, squat, come up on the other side. Net, set the foot, squat, shift to the right now. Us. Yes. See? Go. Good. Yo. All right, relax. So, again, a little quick balance challenge for everybody. You can hold that for as long as you want. You can get down, hold one foot up, and stand there for 5 minutes if you wanted to. It's up to you. Just a quick way to do some balance challenge. Okay, so we're going to get into the bunkai now. So if you have a partner and they weren't working out with you, what the heck? We're bringing them in anyway. Ron, you can come in here whenever you're ready. Ron was working out with me in the corner. I saw he was doing balance challenges with me. But we're going to work through the bunkai today. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a little buffet style. So we're going to take a little bit of each form up to a certain point, just some select forms that we have, and just show general bunkai, right? Because for beginners, this is going to give you the basic idea of bunkai. What is it? What do we mean when we say that word? For advanced students, this is going to give you an opportunity to practice some already established bunkai so that you can work out the rest on your own. If that makes any sense. Again, this is highly situational. So if you have a different interpretation, it may work. Depends on the situation. Depends on the combat effectiveness of what you're trying to do. Right? You have to know where your opponent is, what their reaction is going to be, and what the follow-up is, if any. So just something to trying to fly away. Just something to work on, something to think about. So one thing we got to remember about forms. Forms are just a way to practice defensive actions. They're choreographed, but they're choreographed in order to limit the amount of space that they're using and to make them inconspicuous, right? So they don't look like an actual fighting art. They look like they're just more conspicuous. They look just like it's just somebody training for something. So this is not one big series of, from start to finish, you're fighting a group of people, right? It's sections. It's sections of different defensive actions all kind of put into one choreographed piece, but it's not one sequence of movements, right? So there's going to be breaks in between different opponents, different attacks, different scenarios, different everything. So it doesn't have to be the same attacker, definitely isn't, and it doesn't have to be the same even scenario. It can be a completely different scenario in the next movement. But it has to make sense, right? These are defensive sequences, so it's not, each move is not its own sequence. I blocked and I'm done. No, I got to deal with that guy, but at the same time, once I've dealt with him, it doesn't mean that there's an attacker right on my back. It could be moving to a different position. It could be attacking someone in transit. So break these things down into different, you'll see we're only going to pick little parts of the form out. So we're going to get little individual pieces of this. So it's not one big series of movement. So if we can break that paradigm, it should make a little more sense to you. So there's multiple levels of forms practice, right? You can practice the techniques itself. You can practice the movement. And then you can also practice the combat application, right? And there's terminology for each of those. I'll skip that in the interest of time. But we're going to be working on the combat application now. So that's bunkai, is the combat application. Or as I like to say, when you pull the string on your back, you say practical application of form, right? This is what you're doing. This is the combat application, the practical application of the form. All right, so we're going to start with none other than Tegoku Shodan, right? So our first form, right? And if we recall how that form starts, which most of us do, it starts from a ready position. We go to the left side first. We punch. This is the first set of movements. So then the question gets asked, why here? Why not up to the head? Well, Tegoku Nidan does it at the head. Why wouldn't this one? Most people say, well, because you're learning to attack the chest and then attack the head. Maybe. But it also could be where that person is. So at home, think about this for a second. This is our first movement. Here. What are you doing there? That's the first thing you're doing when you're trying to figure out combat application. What are you doing? What is that movement? Where was your attacker? Were they over here? Beside you? You attack this way? That would make sense, wouldn't it? What if I were to tell you that they were in front of you? Because how many fights start he's attacking me and I'm like this. Some, not as many, but some. So what if my attacker's in front of me? It's straight up in front of me. So Ron's going to do the first move of this. So he's going to be in his ready position. He's going to go to the first move, which is there, right? So if we were to put combat application to this, I'm standing in front of him, right? So you can go back. So I'm standing in front of him. And what's the common? Listen here, you, right? Getting a little close. I may even throw the first move. I may even grab the wrist. I may do the first thing. Hey, listen here, you. That's where this engages. So this first motion of why this block can't just be this, why it has to be this, that's your grip break, right? Breaking the grip off. If you'll remember our grip escapes class, right, last week, it's all about using one arm to bar the other arm, right, to get that arm out, to get your arm out. Well, this is the same idea. You're breaking out of that grip, striking and moving. So if I've got a hold of him, he's moving that arm up, right? But he's coming through and he's breaking that grip off, right? So if you want to grab me, I'm breaking that grip off here, right? I'm just going to strike the grip off. So here, that's that grip break, right? So from this position, if he's got a hold of me, it's a grip break here, striking, right? I'm striking him and clubbing him to this position beside me. So as I've got a hold of him, he's going to take that, bring that grip up, break that grip off, and then he's striking right toward here. Ha, here. And I'm going down here. Now, I'm going to ask you to turn 45 for me so that we can show this on camera. So I get to the floor, but that wasn't enough to end it. I'm still here, but I got knocked back. So I'm going to get up. And as I get up, there's that hit. And I'm back to where I was. So as you can see, it's not necessarily block the kick, punch him in the chest. It definitely could be. But now we have another scenario where we're striking, pulling that opponent to our side, and striking them as they get up. So one more time, then I'm going to have you work on that with your partner while we go into detail like we always do. So I've got a hold of his hand. Now, which hand? The hand that's doing the block. Grab the hand that's doing the block. Otherwise, if you grab this one, you'd have to work the other direction. But here you're coming across, right? They got a hold. Bar the hand. Bar the hand. If advanced belts, scissor block idea. It's the same strip, right? We're coming up. So we're breaking it off, coming up, striking. Collarbone, right? Neck, side of the neck, collarbone area, right? So here, you can say, oh, you want me to turn?
Yeah, let's go this way.
Right.
Might be better.
Yeah. So if he wants to strike me, bam, right there. As I go down, and where am I going? I'm going to his side because that's where he hit me, right? My body's going to move this direction. So now I'm right in line for this. Now as I fall here, the first thing I'm going to want to do is get up. And that puts me at perfect height to take that hit. Right? So that's what we're looking at here. So in the air like we've shown, here. All right? So give that a shot with your partner once. If you're in the air, imagine the person. Imagine the grab. Imagine, well, they grab me here. What do I have to do to get my arm free? And where am I hitting them? Where are they at? Are they still here? Are they over here? Are they over here yet already? Where are they? And what do I have to do to strike them to get them to come across? That's why we're not just kind of putting our foot out there, right? It's all hip. Because that hip motion is going to drive them across. Strike a hip. So play that, go that with your partner a little bit. As we're going through this drill, you're going to see some different detail. One of the pieces of detail is when you do this, you can't go to here. Or you can't just bring one arm involved. It's It's got to be that second arm involved. Even though it's only going from here to here, it still has to come across because you're simulating that action. You're simulating that break of that grip. And then when you're coming out to here, it can't just be turn this way. I've got to bring that foot back so I can really get hip involved. Because that's a powerful strike I got to use to get them to fall this side of me. If I just stand here and use my arm and I hit him here, he's just going to sit there and laugh at me. I've got to put what I got behind it. And that's going to involve hip motion. We all know power comes from the hips. So I'm going to bring that up, drive those hips in as I drive that strike. And now once I'm here, it's important that I don't change angles because he's now over here. So as I come up for this strike, I've got to make sure I'm stepping straight on that line because that's where he fell. So as you're playing with that, see where they go. Now, in combat practice, right, you could say they fell at an angle. So you have to step at an angle maybe. A la Hyun Nidan. Right, Hyun Nidan, we go here, and then we go at an angle. Same premise could apply. Just depends on, again, the situation. So play that a couple more times. Like I said, we're going to move through a couple of these, but then go back and watch this again, practice them again and again and again. So, okay, so let's move on to the next one here. Now, we're going to go further into Taekwondo Shodan, right? So we have a down block punch, we have a down block punch, then we have a down block to the front, followed by 3 straight punches, right? So, is that 3 attackers? Likely not. The most likely scenario is it's 1 attacker, right? Forms always have some sort of plan B built into them. Forms, okay, so let me back up. Forms usually do 2 things. They have a plan B involved in case something doesn't work, and they always make you do it on both sides. So notice the first movement of Taekwondo Shodan is here, here. What's the next movement? Here. Now, we don't stop in the middle, but I wanted to show that for effect, right? It's the same movement, just on 2 different sides. You're going to practice the same motion on both sides to train evenly. So forms usually will do both of those things. So here's our plan B. We're going to work toward this front guy, and now there's a lot of this movement right here, from here to here, could be a lot of different things. You could say, well, it's the same strike as before, right? Maybe. It can also be a sweep. So imagine, if you will, Ron's in front of me. Let's go this way. Let's go 45, like right in here. So Ron's in front of me. He's got the other leg. What I'm doing is, from this position, I'm stepping behind his leg here and using my block to bring him across. Right? So just so you can see it in the air, I'm coming across. He's here. I'm stepping behind his leg, using this arm to brace him so that he can't come forward, and he's going to go over top of my leg. But see, the thing is, he's smart. He's seen this form before. He knows that motion. So he's going to step out of it, right? So as that throw is happening, let's see. So what would be the best way? Probably go this way. So he's going in. So you're going to go do the move. So you're going to be in the down block that direction. Yep. So I'm going to be here. As he comes to do that motion, he steps behind. I'm stepping out of this. Right? So I'm stepping out of that motion. I'm not going to let him do that to me. Right? So let's come back over here just so they can see this. So I stepped out of that. So I didn't let him throw me. So now here comes that punch. Well, I'm getting out of that. Now here comes the second one. Now the third one follows up and hits me, and I'm off camera. We're running out of room real quick in here. That camera's not as wide as I thought. But my point is, first one didn't work, second one didn't work, third one comes into play. And what you'll notice is, when you're training in combat, forms are not meant to be done in a sort of metronome type format. It's not one move all at a constant pace. This form might be done, that movement might be done as right? I might speed up that third punch because that's my follow-up. First one didn't work. Well, I'm going to take that second one and then get that third one in. Move the hand, adjust, make him go for this hand so I have a third one to fire. So you have that option as well. So again, let's talk about doing this as a partner. So let's see, I need you to end up in a front stance this way. So I want to be, yeah, you want to be that way, yep. So as he steps behind my leg, I called it. I'm getting out of that one. He's coming in 1, 2, oh, there's that third one. I can only get so many. Right, I only got 2 arms. He's only got 2 arms. I'm only going to get so many. And this is viable because once I'm on my heels, I may not be able to get offline. Go ahead and start working on that with your partner while I go through the detail. You got to imagine as someone who's being attacked, and if you've sparred, you know this, once you get caught on your heels, there isn't a lot of recovery you're going to do. It's very hard to recover once you're back on your heels and you're falling away from an attack. You either have to stop that motion, get off to the side, or get your hips back under you and be able to attack forward again. So imagine a defender on their heels, blocking the first technique, blocking the second technique, but not having enough time to get the hips back around to guard that third attack. And the attack cadence was 1, 2, 3. Right? So that 1, 2, they were ready for that. 1, 2. That third one should be 1, 2, 3, but it ends up being 1, 2, 3. Well, that hand wasn't ready yet, right? So this is completely viable because you're speeding up that third punch to get it in there, to get that attack down. So go over that with your partner a few times, and like I say, it's different scenarios for different situations, right? This is showing if one punch doesn't work, keep throwing. You'll get there. At some point, you'll get there. Now this technique gets a little more complicated at the end of this because the idea would be third punch, they're out, they stepped out of that third punch, now they're done, now they're coming back in at you, so now you're going to come through, get, and throw them. Get to that another day. So you got punch, punch, that third punch, they backed out, but now they're coming into attack, right? So now you're going to guard. And in combat, you'd have a sidestep most of the time. But you're going to guard that and throw and end up in your front stance to the side. There's that big 3/4 turn, right? That's your throw. Could also be that you're here and you're basically throwing the leg through and popping the hips through as well for that type of throw. But typical over-the-shoulder throw. A lot of times when you turn, you're throwing most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time. Okay, so let's come out of that and let's move on to a different form. Sort of a partner to that, Hyeon Shodan. So Hyeon Shodan, what's the first movement? Well, it looks a lot like Taekwondo Shodan. In fact, it looks exactly like Taekwondo Shodan, right? So, but the next set of movements varies a little bit. So we go down punch, but now we're going to come back. We're going to do that down block. But now instead of stepping forward, we're going to retract, bring the arm inside, and strike over the head. Set the foot, step and punch. This has a lot of different connotations and a lot of different how it's done. Part of this, one interpretation, could be, and if you've ever heard me talk about stance transition, I'm a proponent of stance transition can be an attack as well. This can definitely be an attack, mostly a leg pick. So the idea here would be if he was stepping in, let's say the down block was here, and maybe that was the attack for him. He steps out, whatever the case may be. He ends up in this position, and then he's going to step in and attack me. He's going to step in and straight punch me. Well, a couple things could be happening here. Or maybe it's not even a straight punch. Maybe I went in here and I got a hold of him, right? And I can do different wrist locks and things like that from that position. But let's assume, for sake of argument, that he's coming in at me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick his leg in the process. I'm going to take his leg with me, right? So I went from here, and before he sets weight down, I'm picking that leg, pulling him into me. Now, a couple things are going to happen. he may widen out. He may end up going here. He may end up falling. The assumption is that he has exposed here in some form or fashion, usually by a bend, right? So we got him to here. Now we're coming up over, striking, right? That's the idea. We're striking to that vulnerable part of the back of the head, right? We're using that weak spot to our advantage. So we're going here, picking that leg, striking over top of the head, then moving from there. So what's the next step? Well, again, we have a lot of different methods here. We have plan Bs, things like that. Why do we punch afterward? Let me throw in an alternate scenario for you. Instead of this being down block, strike, step, what if I've got a hold of his hand instead? So what if I've got this hand here? So let's say I got the fingers, right? Let's say I got the fingers here. Well, this movement here, extend, push, punch, or break. A couple different scenarios there. But my point is, there's a lot of different scenarios you can do there. For beginners, I'm going to recommend that you stick with the beginning one. So the down block, the leg pick, strike overhead. It doesn't even have to be a leg pick. You can basically say that strike. Imagine he's this way. Imagine we got to this scenario. Strike low, work over top. You got into that position. Now you're going to use that overhead strike low, and punch. Advanced, if you want to try that finger lock, be careful with your partner. They might not be your partner after this. They may not want you beating them up. But it's 2 fingers, 3 fingers, right? Usually 2, 3 if you get really small hands or really big hands. But then it's into the body and then over and drop. Not fun. So try those with your partner. Well, we'll talk a little bit detail on this. As you're working with your partner, remember that this is all subjective. So again, you're going to do a little bit of, okay, you stand here, you do this, right? Now, most people are, well, that doesn't work in a fight. No, it doesn't. They're absolutely right. But you got to remember, we're practicing pieces. So that if you ever are in that scenario, that's your muscle memory. It comes to here, right? It's not strike. Oh, he's bent down. That takes too long, right? Strike, you know that I have that as a follow-up right away to here. You want it to where your body just starts doing it without you having to think about it. So we're doing scenarios of different things that could happen, different scenarios that they could end up in. This could be something you follow up from, even from something as simple as I could come in, kick low. Well, he's going to come into that. So now I shoot offside and I strike. Like I say, it's not that you are going to do this exact thing and you're not going to don't steal my money yet. I need you to stand with your left foot out. You need to face 45 degrees. That's not what we're doing. We're putting you in the scenario so that you can work that. That's the idea behind bunkai. Okay. Hold off there. We're going to jump again. We're going to go to Heian Nidan. Okay? So I'm going to spend a minute or so here explaining this movement because beginners may not be up at this form yet. Heian Nidan, the first 3 movements. Advanced students, I should just say that and you should already know what bunkai we're doing, right? Hopefully. We go over this one a good bit because it's a very good piece of bunkai in an intermediate form. It's very, very effective. And remember, there's beginner, advanced, and alternative bunkai, right? This is where it gets fun. This is where I nerd out, so I'm sorry. But the 3 movements are, right, the picture frame block, right? So how do we do a picture frame block? Yeah, if you want to go that way, and I'll go, like if you want to do, so I'll do it this way. If you want to stand this way and do the motion toward them, and I'll stand this way, you know what I mean? You kind of know what I mean? Okay. So yeah, so you're going to do it like you were starting to form. You're going to go that way. And this so they have both angles. So the first movement is I'm going to go into a back stance on my left leg, right, toward the left side. I'm going to bring the arms up. Now this arm here, the top arm, which would be the right arm, is 90 degree here, right? Right at the forehead, right? The front hand is straight up here. Now what you don't want is you don't want a big gap in between that. But you don't want them to be together either, right? Small gap here. And you don't want to pull your body into this. Like you don't want to let this elbow start coming in. It's out here. So the shawl should be one like, you can do it right against a wall, basically. Now, the next movement is we're going to fan the left arm down to parallel while the back hand turns over and strikes underneath. Now, we're going to take the right arm here and we're going to pull it back. And as we pull it back, the left arm is going to extend. All the while, we haven't changed stance. So 1, 2, 3. All right? That's the movement. Now, what the heck is all that mess? We got all kinds of crap going on in there. This is where you have to view this form in 3D, right? Because I'm starting like this and my attacker's over here. Yeah, but same idea, right? I'm in a fighting stance. I'm at the same scenario normally. So that's why I say, yeah, most fights don't start like this, but there's definitely scenarios where you end up like this. For example, right here. Right? My attention is this way, but my body's still about 45, right? Especially if you're a kicker. So, this is the hook punch. The big, nasty hook punch coming around, hit hook punch, right? Whack. Not good. So we learned a couple classes back how to dodge some of that, right? We can go underneath, we can U it. We can go attack in the middle. Well, we're going to attack in the middle. But we're going to do it a little bit differently than we normally do. So I'm not going to drive with the elbow. Just one out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to block it here. Right? I'm going to frame it. I'm going to frame to the body here. Okay? I can see the camera through the hole in my arm. Hi. But now, we're going to do this. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to turn them around so you can see it. I'm taking this front hand and coming right up under the chin. All right? So I know you can't see that. So let's turn around this way. We'll do it this way too. So, as that hook punch is coming down, I'm framing up here, striking up under the chin here. I could vary the angle going to the throat, or I can come straight up under the chin. But I'm here. Now, what happens next? Well, if I just drop this arm is still alive. No good. So I need to do something with it. So I'm going to frame it away. And I'm going to strike the rib. Now, again, if I let go of that arm, it's free. No good. So I'm going to come up underneath it with my right arm. Slide and strike. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So again, hook punch comes across. I'm coming up. 1. I'm bringing the left arm across to frame that arm. 2. Going right for the rib. I'm bringing the right arm underneath. Sliding it down, transferring. 3. Okay? Go. Do it with your partner. This one has, there's a train. Sorry if you hear train noises. We don't have a train in the building, but there's apparently one out there. When we do bunkai, sometimes there's three levels of it. There's basic, or beginner, advanced, and alternative. You start with the beginner one. You start with the easy one. Strike, strike, strike. Great. Then you get into advanced, which is what I was talking about with the arm transitions. Strike here, frame, secure this arm while you're striking underneath. Secure the arm again while you're coming up above here. Then there's the alternative. The alternative is, well, what if we did different motions? Same arm motion, but different intent. That's the word I was looking for. So he's going to come. The alternative is I come in 1, strike 2. Now instead of going up here, I'm going to get this third arm. I'm going to get the other arm here. I'm going to pull him through underneath. Take him to the floor. I won't take him to the floor. But actually, I'm going to take him to the floor, right? So I can go 1, 2, get that arm, shuffle into them, take them over. Take them to the ground. So now I have beginner, advanced, and alternative. So when you're learning bunkai, this is where you can take these forms to a whole different level by doing the same movement over and over again, but assuming that you're using a different intent for each motion. So you're getting that ability to really build out these pieces of bunkai into all different kinds of movements. And advanced students, you should practice each one. Don't just stay to the fun one. Stick to make sure you get all three in there, because we want to see details in the basic stuff too. So you got to be able to do all three. You got to be able to be proficient with all three. So had a little bit of time to play with that one. Let's look into some different ones. So let's take a walk up one more form. Let's spend a little bit of time on Sandan. This is good for the advanced students and beginners. Like I said, find a spot where you feel comfortable. Work on that one. If you want to listen to what we're talking about for these, and then maybe go back when we break to do the drill, you go back and work on maybe Tegaku Shodan or Hyan Shodan. That's fine. Advanced students, follow us here. We're going to work in Hyan Sandan, right? We're going to go a little bit further. So Hyan Sandan, first movement of Hyan Sandan, what is it? Well, you come out here. What's next? Or should I say, what's not next? You know what's not next, right? Not that. No punch down, right? Sweep. Arm goes down, but you don't stop. Right? I've harped on that, haven't I? Here, underneath. Right? Scissor blocks. What is this? Well, again, we've got to have a plan B. We've got to have a different thought in our heads. So, this has a couple different interpretations, right? But the main idea is I'm striking or blocking, right? So a couple different interpretations. You can come this way a little bit so we can go off camera. Couple different alternatives, right? I could come in here and strike if I wanted to, right? Or it could be he's punching, and I'm blocking that here, right? In any scenario, he's getting a hold of me. He's grabbing a hold of me. So no matter what I was doing, let's say I'm blocking. If I block, he gets a hold of me. Uh-oh. What do we do now? Well, it's the same side grab, so we go this way, right? Okay, we can. But we also have a scissor block to help us. So the weakness is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose. Now I'm coming up underneath, right? I'm sweeping up underneath this thing. I want to pry this thing off. So I need to bar it. So what I can do is, on this case, I can come over top and bar it. Right? So as he's got me, I'm going to come down. There's my bar. Right? See the weakness here? So the weakness is here. When I put this arm over top, I'm making sure he can't come up. Push down, pull, break. Break the grip. Right? So strike here, you got a hold of me. Strike. I can strike, or I can use the concept of practice on both sides to say, well, here, I broke that. Now, I'm going to give my partner the opportunity to grab my other hand, and I'm going to break that one. Again, multiple interpretations. What's the situation called for? What's the drill? All right? So I want you to work on that. Get your grabs, work through it. Now, what if, well, go ahead, work with your partner. Advanced students, think about this. What happens if you grab me with the other arm instead? Doesn't work. Can't do the form. It's over. No, it just changes, right? So now you've got to bring that hand underneath and grip out this way, right? You got to basically come in, get that bar, work out, right? So you might have to change the angle at which you're working. But you're going to have to play with that. You're going to have to see those different options. Because again, defense is never black and white. It can't always be, well, it's the same side grab always. Okay, what if it's not? Use something else. Right? So you have to try different things. So keep working that with your partner. I'm going to talk just a little bit of detail on the movement itself. When you're in your stance here and you come up, feet together, don't stand straight up. Little bend in the knees. You're not down, like you're sitting on a chair. Just a little bit of bend in the knees. And when you're doing this, don't, some of us have this trouble. You know who you are. Don't bend into it. Don't shimmy with it. Don't move the back. I had that problem at one time. We know who we are. It's me. I have where I would bring my head in with it. Don't do that. Keep your back straight. Keep everything in place, right? It's just comes up. Nothing else moves. Little hip motion maybe, depending on the situation, but no, don't bob your head in with it. I had that problem. And when you're doing it, don't get in the habit of like just flipping the arms. They meet in the middle. They touch. So when I come up, it's touch, touch. You got to meet in the middle here and touch in the middle. Forearms touch. Otherwise, you're not breaking grip. You're just coming out this way. And it looks like some sort of very strange bicep exercise. All right, so there's that. We're going to throw one more in there. We're not going to be able to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I can get it on film. So you can go back and watch it later. The big move, right? So Hyun Sundon has this movement, right? So where are we at? Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm going to spend a little bit. This is more for advanced students, right? Beginners, keep working on what you had. I'm just going to run through this real quick because I'm running out of time. Double forearm block, back stance, step, spear hand, right to the middle. Shift the stance, come up underneath. Hammer fist strike, great. Horse stance. Turn the foot, step straight punch. What is all that mess? Well, the idea is, come this way so I can advance. Striking on the inside, right? This is a close quarters attack. So we got in range. We're striking here, right? Now, again, he's got this down by now. So he's backing out. So I'm coming in 1. Now I'm coming in. I'm striking again 2. And now he's not there. But now he's going to grab me. Now he's had enough of me. So I'm going to give him what he wants. I'm going to turn away and give him what he wants. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to rotate. And as I rotate, I'm going to sneak this arm inside. See that? Right to here. Real tight. Real tight. So here, real tight. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm swinging this foot. So it looks like this. I'm here. What's next? That. What if we're closer? That. Right? Different options. But again, he's got this down. So he's out of the way of that one. Now I'm coming in to get it. Right? The other option I've heard of, but I haven't really put it into my training yet, is this motion here is a break, and then I'm getting behind him, sweeping him. He's on the ground, and now I'm striking low. Right? Which is the reason that it's a sternum punch. Multiple options, multiple different scenarios, right? Practice that one right after we log off. Because I am a little out of time. Ron, thank you very much. But I got it on video, so go back and watch it. That's the good thing about this, is I can sneak a last drill in on a live stream, and you practice it afterwards. It's great. It's best of a bad situation. Anyway, so I know that was a lot. The good news is it's all recorded, so you can watch it 8 million times. You can hear my voice till your ears want to hear me no more. So go back, watch these things, practice these motions. If you didn't have a partner this time, go grab a partner later. The good news about quarantine is nobody's going anywhere. So go back and grab a partner. They're not busy. Hey, we did these things on Monday. I didn't have a partner. Now I can go in and now can you come help me, and we're going to rewatch this and we're going to go through it. But that was a lot at one time. So beginners, take a chunk. Take Taekwondo Shodan, and if you don't know Taekwondo Shodan yet, learn that first. Don't try to do bunkai before you know the technique, right? Imbusen is the pattern. So before you don't do bunkai before you know the imbusen, before you're comfortable with the imbusen, right? Because it will just confuse you. Learn the pattern first, then learn the bunkai. This is advanced students. You should be working on this stuff, especially for Taekwondo Shodan. You should already know that format inside and out, right? So go back, watch this again. Keep looking at this. This stuff is complicated. This stuff takes a lot of time to learn, and you're going to make mistakes all along the way. Embrace it. Work on it as much as you can. Go back, do it over and over and over and over again until you can do it in your sleep, no problem. All right. Just a reminder, our next live class will be on Thursday, not Wednesday. Same time, 6 to 7, but it'll be on Thursday instead of Wednesday. So hopefully you can join us live. This class is obviously going to be uploaded right after this is over, so it takes a little bit to process, and then it'll show up, so you can watch this again if you like. Wednesday, you can watch this one again, and then you won't have to wait but one 24-hour period, and we'll be back with more for you. So with that being said, hope everybody's staying safe, staying well out there. We'll be back on Thursday at 6. If you have any questions beforehand, get in those comments, talk to us. I'm going to try to put out the poll a little bit earlier this time so you guys can tell us what you want to see in the next live class. So appreciate everybody's time. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Corey with CVMA. We'll see you again next time.